afternoon, everyone. My name is Shelby Barboza. This is Catherine Abate, Savannah Austin, and Barbara Kennedy, and we are the Verizon Wireless Culture Team. As many of you may know, Verizon Wireless is one of the leading distributors of cell phones in the world, which means that we are expected to give back. Already, we have established Hopeline, which connects domestic violence victims to vital resources. However, we wanted to create something specifically for the Dallas community that would address an issue that has long been ignored. So as you can see, there are a lot of different statistics and numbers, and I'd like to describe the first one using a story. So imagine a guy calls a girl, he's drunk, and he needs a ride. So she picks him up because she doesn't want her friend to be endangered and takes him back to her off-campus apartment. At this apartment, he tries to make a move, and although she says stop and no repeatedly, it doesn't matter in his eyes. A few hours later, he has left, but she has no place to go. She is stuck in the place where it happened, washing her sheets, crying, and feel like she has nowhere to go and no one to talk to. 1 in 4 women, or 25% of women, are raped at some point in their lifetime. And more specifically, 23% of college-age women are assaulted in some way or in some form of sexual misconduct while actually on campus. Although this story seems kind of generic, for our team it hits closer to home because it's my story. My junior year of college, this happened to me, and unfortunately many stories aren't actually told. In the past 10 years, an NPR analysis of Department of Education data has shown that the increase of college campus rapes and sexual assaults has increased by 50%. Although the increase is high, what schools are actually reporting is severely low. According to the American College Health Association, campuses should report about 5% of incidents happening. However, what they are reporting is less than 1%, because no one wants to be known as the rape college. While auditing, however, the rape and sexual assault incidents will increase by 44% on their records, but whenever the auditing is done, it will go back down to indistinguishable numbers. Not only is the campus and the officials not supporting and advocating for the students, but the actual on-campus police officers aren't either. According to a study done by John Fobert, most police officers on campus will falsify documents, they will lie, and they will confuse the victims in order to keep the school from any negative stigma. So what does all of this mean? We decided to get the sexual assault and rape victims pie graph together of all of the students, and we used UT Dallas as an example. So out of 23,000 students, according to the statistics previously stated, about 1,150 students every year will be raped or sexually assaulted while on campus. Among those, UT Dallas will report 1 student, and you can't even see it on here because it's so small. Out of those, 39% of students will go to the police to report what happened to them, which is the lowest crime rate reported in the Dallas area. What's our solution? Haven, or helping assault victims escape normality, because this has been the normal for too long. Haven will put the victims first, hopefully resulting in more reported rapes and sexual assaults, resulting in more criminals put behind bars, and most importantly, more stories being told. And Catherine is going to explain how we're going to do this.
Thank you, Shelby. Our solution to this issue is to provide a safe environment for victims to go to after they've been sexually assaulted. Haven will be centrally located in the Dallas area in between college campuses. Haven will be open to all victims of sexual assault or rape crimes immediately after the crime has taken place or whenever the victim is ready to talk. We decided we wanted to rent a home instead of an office business because we wanted Haven to have a welcoming and friendly environment. Our services will include individual and group counseling sessions from professional counselors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our conversations and documents will be kept confidential between our staff and clients. And our experienced staff will be the beginning process for these victims to start recovery. One of our goals at Haven is to stop sexual crimes from going unpunished. As Shelby previously stated, only 39% of sexual crimes are being reported to the police. Therefore, we're going to recommend that our victims receive medical attention afterwards in order to obtain physical evidence. This physical evidence will be preserved against the assailant, even if the victim chooses not to press charges immediately afterwards. At least we'll have that evidence and their statement on file if they decide to at a later date and time. However, if the victim chooses not to receive any medical attention, our staff members will respect their decision. And Haven counselors will provide support, and together they will build an action plan of what needs to be taken in order to stop these crimes from going unpunished. Another goal is to help these victims work through the the aftermath of their traumatic experience and to help them regain control of their lives. Many rape victims, after they have been sexually assaulted, are feeling alone and emotionally damaged. If left untreated, they're at high risk for developing several physical and emotional symptoms such as nightmares, flashbacks, anger, guilt, loss of trust, and suicidal thoughts. Haven counselors will provide the emotional and psychological support these victims so desperately need. We're asking that you take this issue very seriously and help us put our plan into action by helping rape victims of the Dallas community to rebuild, reestablish, and recover their lives. Now I'm going to cover our timeline schedule. So our plan is to be open by January 15th of 2017. In order to do that, we have to have our budget finalized by June 1st, and we need to have all our licensing and inspections done by July 30th. And we'll be set up for our daily operations by September 30th, and we'll have our staff members hired by November 21st. Once all these events are completed, then we will start advertising on local college campuses to be open for the spring semester of 2017. Now I'm going to pass it to Savannah so she can go over our staffing.
Thank you. We want Haven to be employed by our Dallas communities that has no local ties to our local colleges and universities. As Shelby has stated, in the past media and news coverage, when attempted and completed rape or sexual assault happens on a campus, universities tend to sweep it under the rug. If the incident is reported, help for the victim is difficult to find and can result in a long process, and also scrutiny to the victim by campus officials and fellow classmates. This resolution does not ensure that the victim is properly attended to in the amount of time following the incident. Instead, can serve to make the victim's recovery more difficult. The staff at Haven will have a commitment to our program and our community we serve. Haven will include counseling, crisis intervention, and advocacy for those lives who have been affected by sexual assault and violence. Our program will also be committed to social change through our local community by implementing prevention, education, and outreach. The program will focus on meeting unique needs of all populations, including LGBTQ and different abled bodies and other conditions which victims arise. Our specific staffing needs are 3 to 5 counselors on staff at the center, while having 5 counselors employed at all times. At least 1 counselor will be at this crisis center, and 2 to 3 counselors will be on call if Haven becomes overwhelmed. We believe our counselors should have certain focuses, past experiences, and certificates in crisis help, family therapy, PTSD, and also mental health for every day. While we will have counselors on staff at the crisis center, we will also have volunteers to help keep the house in order. Since Haven will be open at all times for the needs of our victims, the daily shifts will be 3 8-hour shifts. We will have at least 1 counselor and 2 to 3 volunteers at the center at all times. I will now pass it on to Barbara to talk about our budget.
Thank you, Savannah. Haven will be a costly project, but Verizon has always recognized the need for community outreach. We feel that Haven is a vital resource for the Dallas community, and as such, we are willing to donate a portion of our funds already set aside for philanthropy in order to help make Haven a reality. As illustrated in our budget outline, we have allocated $225,000 a year for the salaries for our counselors on staff. We feel like this is an important decision because our counselors are our #1 resource in order to ensure that Haven is a success. In addition to that, we have outlined our other overhead costs such as utilities, rent, and advertising. And then you'll notice in section C, we have outlined $36,000 for any unforeseen expenses that may occur. We know that sometimes situations will arise in which additional funding will be needed. And in order to cover those costs, we propose doing community awareness projects such as a 5K run titled No Means No. Those who wish to participate in the event will pay an entry fee, and then they will be encouraged to raise funds from their friends, family, and acquaintances that will directly benefit Haven. If our project is selected as the winner, the Dallas County Chamber of Commerce will help make Haven a reality. Haven will be a tremendous asset to the city of Dallas. With UNT Dallas, UTD, SMU, and Dallas County Community College campuses, as well as other campuses in the area, the Dallas area is prone to have a high number of sexual assault on campus. In an ideal world, a resource such as Haven wouldn't be necessary. However, the truth is that our students have few options whenever seeking help after a sexual assault. We have illustrated how blatantly colleges will avoid reporting these assaults in order to not be labeled as the rape campus. more safe to potential students. It is imperative that we provide our students for a path back to normal. Let us take a look at the bigger picture. As Katie earlier outlined, the sexual assault can lead to many emotional disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder, stress, guilt, shame, and many others. These poor mental states can lead to a student's inability to perform well in school, which can lead to their inability to find a successful career afterwards. With our students unable to complete their college education, the Dallas community will surely suffer. In order to maintain a safe, secure, and proactive community, the Dallas Chamber of Commerce should choose Haven as the most beneficial community awareness project. Thank you very much for your time, and are there any questions? Who's first? I'll be next. Yes, ma'am.
So, how is Haven different or better than most of the resources that are usually available on college campuses, like the Student Wellness Center, the Student Counseling Center, or the Women's Center?
That is a great question. As Savannah outlined and Shelby outlined as well, many college campuses, and also in the news, many college campuses will avoid or sweep under the rug any of the assaults that are reported there. While we do feel like these resources on campus are very important, we also feel like there should be another option just in case the students' needs aren't being met by these resources or they feel like they're being overlooked. He was next, and then I'll get you. Yes.
I was curious, we've dealt a lot with in student government Title IX and making that as clear cut as possible to the student body. But in our meetings with administration, they cited somewhere near 78% of sexual assaults that occur on campus that are then reported choose to go unreported to the police. How would Haven work in compliance with Title IX? And also, is your atmosphere more encouraging towards reporting these sexual assaults to the police, or is it more victim-centric?
I can answer that.
What's Title IX? Can we, so
Yeah,
just so we all
probably
know,
preface
please?
that in the auditing system as well.
So Title IX is a mandatory reporting system for university faculty and student employees. When an individual is in conversation with somebody and they divulge that they were sexually assaulted, university employees have to then report it to the university administration, and then the university administration seeks for their action. It's mandatory. If they get wind of any sort of sexual assaults or any sort of misconduct happening on campus, they then have to report it to administration.
Okay, thanks.
Obviously, we would encourage those who came in, if it did happen on campus, to also tell them other than just us. That way the school could handle it in whatever way they saw fit, but at least they would have a second opinion, a second interview, kind of. And there would be kind of an intermediary time that most victims don't have. They either have to choose immediately to go to the hospital or choose immediately to go to the police. They don't have any time for counseling, any time for any kind of trauma relief. It's just, okay, do you want to go? Yes or no? And if it's no, the victim feels like, okay, if I wait a little longer, I have no, like, it's not going to help at all. And so the purpose of Haven is kind of that 1 to 2 like peak hours of decision making. We want to be there for the victim. Our counselors want to be there for the victim, so they have more time to decide on what exactly they want to do with a clear head and with guidance from our counselors who have experience in these kind of situations.
I think David had a question back there first. Yes.
First, how did you find the statistics of UT Dallas? And the second thing is that I noticed that half of your costs or you really need help from the Chamber of Commerce. If you don't win, are you still going to do this project or not? And how are you going to get that money?
I can answer the first part.
Yes.
Okay. To answer the first part of the question, we just used the 23,000 students of UT Dallas, just in general, was what I got from current students going right now. And then according to the NPR analysis of education data, about 5% should be what schools are saying happens on campus. So that was where the 1,150 came from. And then the one was the UT Dallas in 2014, their percentage of what they reported was 0.05%. That's why it was one person. And then the 39% was from the Dallas Rape Crisis Center of how many go reported based on unreported.
So essentially she took generalized statistics and then applied it to a local college campus. And then as far as needing the funding from the Dallas City Chamber of Commerce, we would definitely still do it without the funding, but if the Dallas Chamber of Commerce backs us, that means that they're taking a step towards making Dallas and its colleges a safer environment. And we think that that's really important to show our students that the Dallas Chamber of Commerce supports them.
Did you still have a question? Or
Yeah,
did they answer your question? Oh, no.
Oh,
Sorry, remember.
Anyone?
So my question is, y'all have Verizon wireless network, and you're going into this. I mean, I'm not really saying
The connection.
yeah, like it's not really going hand in hand. I was just wondering if you're going to be partnering with any nonprofits or any other organizations that are more knowledge and experience in the whole crisis help, kind of therapy.
So we have Hopeline, which, as she stated, it offers resources to victims of domestic violence. So we are somewhat familiar with domestic violence and sexual assault in those types of situations. As far as partnering with other nonprofits, it's definitely an option. It's not something that we've specifically looked into yet because first we want to get everything grounded. And also regarding the connection, I'm sure that many students have Verizon as their carrier, and so we want to support all of our consumers in any way that we can.
Okay, that's